Watching the ice-encrusted leviathans of the winter fleet lumber in off the lakes for layup never fails to fascinate or inspire me. Each outing carries with it its own story, and as I was about to find out, the combination of capricious winds, Arctic temperatures, and shifting ice turned a seemingly benign entry into what was to become an exhausting 3-day odyssey. How you doing, everyone? Next up is the Stewart Cort. It's a cold one today, barely above zero. So I see the Stewart Cort coming up from Burns Harbor, I think it was, or Gary. She's about off of LaSalle Park right now. About 8 miles out, I would say. So she's going to lay up here in Sturgeon Bay. But the scuttlebutt was, everyone wanting to know, is she going to come through the canal? Or is she going to take the long way around, go up and around, add another 8-10 hours to her journey? Well, it's my experience that when they're this far out, they're not making a break for the canal. She's too far out. I could be wrong, but speculation is the canal is kind of low on water these days. The lake level is down. We're in the shadows here now. To the east of the clay banks as the sun sets to the west, but the sun is still gleaming on her nice and bright. She's a big girl, so getting her down and through the canal could be a bit of a challenge. So she'll probably go up and over, which means I have another early morning, because she'll probably hit Sherwood Point around, 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Scheduled to hit Bay Ship around 7 a.m. Old number one, first 1,000 foot around the lakes.
Give you somewhere to go and then buzz around you a couple times. Yeah, sounds good. I've got a pretty good open vein of water here right in front of me. It's just can't get her moving. Yeah, Roger. She stopped me back there a little bit. There's some pressure, but once we get through that bit, I think we'll be all right. Yeah, sounds good.
The Stewart Cort is stuck in the ice. The Jimmy L is on her way out to get her. Take a look at that here now. So I've been watching the Stewart Cort all morning, and since 3 o'clock this morning, and she really slowed down and thought she was going to come in around 7 or so. I've been out here since 9 o'clock. It's 10 after 11 right now. She stopped, and apparently the captain of the tug, Jimmy L, is going to try to cut a track for her. Hopefully she'll be going again. So I'm shooting from a new location today as well. This is Potawatomi State Park, and it's at the very end of the Shoreline Road where there's a boat launch.
Jimmy, I got her kicking in the trunks here. She's starting to come ahead for me. All right, good deal.
And this is where the guys launch their fishing shacks as well. So we're going to go out onto the ice because we can't put the drone up on state park property. But if I go out a couple of 100 yards, I'm no longer on state park property. And so I can go out onto the ice and launch from there. So that's what I'm going to do today, try to get a different perspective of the Cort, one that I've never gotten before. So I like to, mix it up a little bit. And she's changed her destination to so close. That's good humor right there.
Yeah, she's slowly making progress here. I'm down to about 1.3 mile an hour, but she's still moving. Yeah, she slowed me down. This is where I think I stopped before, but shortly we'll be on that more east-west track, and didn't feel like there was as much pressure there, so I might turn around and try to come back and cut you a little more. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, she's falling off to the left here. She's kind of coming into where you cut that pressure ridge there. So we're still moving.
Yeah, it's been a long wait. She still keeps getting stuck. She go a few hundred yards and gets stuck. So what is it now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 4 hours I've been here waiting. Could go for a cup of tea. My boat nerd buddy, Todd Altofterhide, was across the bay over at Lethan Smith Quarry there. And he called a little while ago. He gave up. He'd been out here since early this morning. Alright, she appears to be moving. When she does get to open water and gets to the turning basin, she's going to turn around. So they got to break up a lot of ice there for her to turn around. A lot of ice. That's when we'll head out.
Turned around here. Yeah, roger that.
These fishing charters. These guys have multiple fishing shacks and they lease them out. And this guy's delivering, it looks like kind of a twin sister of the other one over here. Boy, they make quick work of it.
Still cutting her a little bit, so I'm going to keep running.
About an hour and a half later, I prepared to set out onto the ice. Knowing the sub-zero temperatures would likely wreak havoc on my electronic equipment, I wanted to get the footage I needed, making only one trip out onto the bay. It was slow going for the Cort, slower than I had anticipated. She advanced only about 2 miles over the last 7 hours, but with clouding over and daylight fading, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss the opportunity for the shot I had been planning for. All right, so we're out on the ice, probably about a quarter mile out, and next to this giant crack. Don't want to go on the other side of that if that breaks off. We're on the shore side, so she's really taking her time spinning around in the turning basin out there, which doesn't surprise me given how much ice there is. It's probably 6 inches thick, give or take an inch. Really, really slow going. Of course, she got stuck several times too, so she might not make it the 6 miles down to base ship until after the sun sets. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think now, so sun sets at around 4:30. I see the Jimmy L cutting a track, so Stewart Cort can't be far behind. This is a really good location, though. I like this location, provided the ice is sound, to, good perspective to get the boats coming in. This zoom lens here, you can see that there. Anyway, 70 to 200 millimeter lens, putting that on and compressing that distance between where these ice shacks are and where the Cort is in the track there going down the channel. So we'll see. Here come more ice shacks. I put the drone up a couple of times just to see if the Cort was making any progress. On my final flight, I went out about 3,000 feet, crossing over the track cut by the Jimmy L, when suddenly my drone stopped in mid-flight. It was detecting obstacles on all sides, but I was 150 feet up and out over the bay. There were no obstacles. Regardless of what I tried, the drone wouldn't move forward or back or laterally, nor would it return home. Detecting obstacles in its way, it refused to move. I had 40% battery, and my satellite connections were good, so I started to systematically troubleshoot the issue on my controller, and hoped that it wasn't acting squirrely from the frigid temperatures. But no matter what I tried, The drone was not responding.
Low battery. Return to home promptly.
And just like that, I was down to 10% battery power. As a last resort, I turned off the power to the controller. A risky move, I know, but when communication between the controller and the drone is lost, the aircraft automatically returns to its GPS home point from where it took off. Nothing. With panic setting in, I turned the controller back on and re-established communication with the drone. It had not moved. I kept getting an audio warning to land.
Low battery. Return to home promptly.
With one final attempt, I switched flight modes from cine to normal. Nothing.
Low battery. Return to home promptly.
And then to sport mode, where the obstacle warning fence around my drone is automatically overridden. That worked.
Low battery. Return to home promptly.
I raced back toward the home point under repeated audio warnings to land, hoping at least to clear Cabot Point, where the ice was safe and I could retrieve my drone. As it began to descend, my anxiety levels skyrocketed.
Landing. Critically low battery warning.
It was still about a half-mile distant. Suddenly, the drone stopped its forward progress
Landing.
and made its emergency landing, coming down somewhere in the snow-covered ice out beyond the fishing shacks.
Critically low battery warning. Critically low voltage.
I turned on the little action camera I use to explain to you what happened, but the cold got to the wireless receiver of the microphone and it too shut down. I was relieved that I was able to retrieve my drone, but it had been a long day and the Cort wasn't moving. Even the tugs gave up and would be back again long before sunup the following day to begin the process of bringing her in all over again. I was up at 4 o'clock the next morning and saw intrepid tugs Donald J. Sarter and Jimmy L. were headed back out to free up the beleaguered freighter. I dropped Colleen off at school.
Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you for bringing me to school.
You're welcome.
And for the third straight day, I set out to chase the Stewart J Cort. And I wondered, too, if on this serene morning, the Cort would finally break through and make her way beyond Idlewild Point.
That took about 2 hours. But they were working on her, but she's on the move now. I think I'll put the drone up real quick and see what she's up to. It's going to be a long slog.
Well, the Cort was finally underway. With an assist from the brawny Donald J. Sarter with a tow line connected to her stern. And as she entered the channel, I couldn't help but feel relief for Captain Parsons and his crew, who knew that the season's end was now just a few, albeit slow, miles up the bay. many moods of weather was, in hindsight, a gift, allowing me to capture her sailing through various light over multiple days. I've included several of those photos at the end of this video. She proudly displays in plain view a 10-foot tall hand-painted number 1 on the forward side of her aft cabin. A reminder to all approaching that even though she may be among a dozen other footers on the lakes, she was and will forever be the first. She's also the only 1,000-footer with her pilot house forward. Her self-unloading shuttle boom lies not on her deck, but beneath it, and is contained within the after-cabin structure, making for a unique appearance and an easily recognizable silhouette on the water, and a favorite of so many. Glad to see she's finally coming in. Man, been a rough 3 days for her, that's for sure. She still has another hour or so before they actually get her docked. All right, I think I'll head over either to my buddy Grant's house or down to Bullhead Point. See what we can get from there.
We got guys on the boat here and guys on the ground ready to catch lines and whatever you need for us.
Okay, sounds good. Do you guys have a rough idea where you want my stern in relation to the stern of the miner for our final spot here?
The boss Aries is on the ground down there. He'll call your distances back there about how far off the dock wall he wants you and stuff like that.
All right, sounds good, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're just making our way in here nice and easy. Donald J, I'm liking how this is shaped up here. I'm just going to keep creeping back, and once I get parallel with his outboard bow, I'm just going to try to work my stern around and my bow over.
Okay, real good. We'll probably stay 20-30 feet off your stern and just kind of slide down with you as you go, and hopefully we can clear most of this ice out for you.
Sounds great, Cap. That'd be perfect. Donald J, I'm looking real good. If you want to start sliding around there, I'll continue to work my stern into that open pool you got there and get her a nice up close and personal and work her back.
Okay, roger that. Sliding down.
Rich, I'm down at the other end of the miner here trying to make a hole. Maybe have somewhere the ice can go when you get this way.
Okay, roger that. Yeah, good call.
That was a brutal 3 days. But she's finally in. So until next time, thanks for sticking with me for, trying to get the Stewart Cort into the barn.
Trying to make a hole here, Rich. I got it packed in here pretty tight. I don't think we
slammed in here. Ah, it's looking real good though, off the stern. Better than I expected.
Yeah, so they're just tucking her in right now. At any rate, yeah, thanks for sticking with me for 3 days on this. And I guess the next 2 boats coming in, I'll be there for those, hopefully, especially the Paltergurtha. It's been 6 years, I think, since she's been here. And she's an elusive one as well. So until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you down the road. Thanks for watching, everyone.